Okay, it's probably going to be the shortest recording I've ever made of this game. Going to be really short. That's better than nothing.
ねえ、大丈夫？動けそう？
Okay, so are you okay? And then what? Do you think you can move? Okay, this one is hard because so one of them is where am I? Who are you, right? And the second is Koko wa doko, which is where is here, basically. I'm going to retranslate the top line, though, if I can. Might be all messy. Yeah, it's very messy. But it's who are you? Now, Kimi is a weird way of saying you, though. If you put where are you, that's giving the person, who are you? That's giving the person attention, right? But in the original game, you already introduced herself to the kid earlier in the story. So if he says, who are you? And he's supposed to already know who she is, even though he doesn't because he forgot. But, you know, by chance, like, I as the player am the one making the decision for him, not him making the decision for himself. Got to use my omnipotence to do the right decisions for him that will lead him down the romance route, right? So, I look really silly and ignorant in the original game if you ask that. Given, in the remake, I don't think that's the case. I don't think you actually introduced herself to the kid. In fact, I think they had you introduce herself. You does talk to the kid, but it isn't like the same, right? The kid doesn't know who she is or whatever. Kind of a, and what makes this worse is I actually should know what the right answer was for this in the original, because I actually looked at the flowchart for the original, but I forgot. And it seemed kind of like cheating to me to go back and look at that because, well, I'm playing a new game of this, right? Also, there might be significance to getting a perfect score for you as well, because there was in the original. I don't know if there is here, though. I'm going to guess who are you, but it could be wrong. Who is this girl? Okay, it looks like a thought box. Okay, so this is only thinking. It's not actually saying anything. So it might not matter. This is a messy. What's going on here? The extra junk affect the OCR in any way? Yes, add an extra character. Okay. So I'm going to paste in Google Translate. I'm going to delete that character that's extra, which is this one. Okay. At the same time, deep in my head, deep in my memory, I felt if something was about to turn inside out. That's right. Boku wa, this girl, no. And that's it. And then Kimi wa. I don't know why I'm using Kimi. That's odd. Let me see if Google Translate will actually give me something here. So I'm going to type Kimi into Google Translate, and it just tells me you. Usually refers to the person that the speaker is addressing. In general, yeah, but it doesn't tell you what the connotation is. I mean, it's different than, like, Timmy. Interesting. Because second-person pronouns are things you don't learn very quickly in Japanese because they're not something you use very often. When you start learning Japanese, you start with commonly used phrases, and second-person pronouns are kind of not commonly used. I don't really know how to use them very well. The most common you would think of would be anata. Like I'll hear that a lot in like J-pop music. Anata used to refer to you, and it seems to be the most formal and respectful, but most as in the least evil. Like it's still kind of uncouth to refer to somebody as anata. Anta seems like something you would say as a parent to the child, and it's kind of demeaning if you actually were to use that. Oh my wa, or oh my, is something that Makoto, the main character in Memories Off, says a lot in Memories Off. And as far as I understand, it's kind of rude, and that, well, the main character of Memories Off is indeed kind of rude. That's part of the character he's supposed to portray. Time is what you say when you're mad at someone because they are doing something like throwing erasers at you. And yes, that is something that Makoto in Memories Off also used, but when he was really mad at someone. I don't know what Kimi is used for. They're all kind of rude though. Like what you're supposed to do is you just delete it. Like just talk like just don't say a second. Just say the rest of the sentence without the second person pronoun in it and just leave it there like implied. If you can get away with it, right? Sometimes it's hard because the context would make it sound like you're talking about yourself instead of the person you're talking to. And so you'd have to adjust that intentionally, and then you have to pick a pronoun, and it's awkward. Anyway, when I was about to say that name, those words didn't come out, right? It's like he's going to say, Timi wa you desu, and he goes, wait, I forgot. This is name, right? Why will it not grab? It's only two characters. Oh, because there's that extra gunk. Let me try getting rid of the gunk. Oh, it's hard to do that. Let's see here. Let's adjust this. Okay, that can kind of pull it off. Brightness max. Okay, so that means word. Interesting. Yeah, words. I guess it could also mean name. I wonder what language, what words are to communicate with people, to have conversations with people, right? Communicate, communication. What are words for people to communicate with each other, to have conversations? Question. Yeah, how do I know how to do this thing called talking? I don't recognize it. I suddenly feel dizzy, and the area around my temples begin to throb in pain. Unable to bear the pain, I press down on my temples.
頭が痛いの？
Your forehead. Does your face hurt? Or does your head hurt? I pressed down on my temples with the tips of my hands, which I presume would be like your fingertips, and gave a small nod.
わかった。じゃあ、ちょっと待ってて。
So this is very similar to this dialogue in the original. This is do not change very much. Except for, I don't remember that one line about where I'm questioning what words are even for. It's a little bit extra, but it does make sense in the context, so it's not wrong to add that line. What I'm most curious about here is how much the opening is going to change depending on which perspective you see the opening. In the original, you, the kid, and Coco meet up with Takeshi, Tsugumi, and Sora. I believe in the Takeshi side, in one of the sides, in the Dolphin Carousel, which I think is the Takeshi side, because that was the second one I did. But I'm not exactly sure about that. And one of the sides in front of the door to the control room. And you can catch that difference, you can notice they're different, right? And it's implied that what happens with the kid and you on the Takeshi side is they rescue Coco from the elevator in the same way that on the kid's side they rescue Sara from the elevator. Now, if you open up the Coco route, you can make the Coco route choice of saving Coco from the elevator as Takeshi. But that's only when you get like all the other routes finished, you can do the final route. I'm curious about how they do the similar thing here, because in this remake, in the Takeshi side, the two groups meet each other in a random hallway in the middle of Ever17, which is a floor that you can't even get on in the original. While they're both looking for escape pods, and they're both looking for escape pods on Ever17. You turning around because the escape pods she was checking there were none left. Takeshi turning around because, well, he couldn't even get to the escape pods he was trying to get to because he got blocked by an implosion. So this is Wakata. What is Wakata? I should remember what that means. I never learned it academically, but it shows up so often in games. I should remember what it means, but I don't remember what it means. So then, could you wait a minute, right, is the second part. Or could you wait a bit? Okay. Oh, is this okay? Wait a minute, then.
痛み止め、頭痛薬を持ってくるから。
Why are you not grabbing? There we go. I'll bring you headache painkillers, basically. Something I never dealt with ever in my life, because why would you? She smiled gently and left my side. Gee whiz, offline translator. I try to get up, but I can't react well. No, I didn't know how to put my strength into it. I had to figure out how to use a human body. How do I move my body again? Again? I guess technically, yes, if you consider this whole series. I struggled somehow managing to get up and looked around. There's no again, I think I just looked around. It was a pure white room. So I don't think he got up off the bed in the original. He was still laying on the bed when you wanted to like shove the painkillers up his butt. In the room, there were several neatly arranged beds and some kind of equipment. By the way, I've done that because I got some stupid thing where the gastroenterology department at my healthcare provider decided I should take steroids in my butt for anti-inflammatory effects to like, because I have it was really dumb. I'm not going to say the details. It was really stupid. Would not have needed to do that. It's one of those just alarmist things. And excess intervention. But I didn't really know what to do. I couldn't tell them, like, no, because then they wouldn't do a follow-up check. Right? They would follow up unless they did the silly treatment. Bottles lined up on the shelves of the wall. Several monitors buried in the walls. Terminals protruding from beneath them. Desks.
はい、痛み止め。
Yes, pain stoppers, right? That would be like a literal translation of that. Yeah, it would be yes, pain stoppers. Which actually makes a bit more sense than painkillers. Just realized how weird the English word is. Or pain blockers, right? There are 2 white pills in her hand and a cup filled with water. And I forgot. The OCR in this current version deletes left. It just kind of eliminates it. So if you can see my cursor, this kanji means left. So my cursor's in the upper right where I have the translation box, but then it always gets completely deleted. Okay, so I had 2 white pills in her left hand and a cup of water in her right hand. White pills. The OCR kind of messed up, but it's probably 2 followed by a counter you'd use for pills as a kanji, if I'm guessing. Which would probably just be like futatsu, right? I tried to take probably the medicine and the cup. See if I can like remake this more normal again with the it still comes. Brightness settings are still gonna mess with me, unfortunately. The unfortunately transparent-ish text box always gives me problems. The cup was about to fall out of my hand and onto the futon. Oh, it wasn't about to, it did. The overflowing water soaks the futon. My body wouldn't move the way I wanted. Yes, you're shorter than you used to be. What on earth has happened to me? It's as if it's not my own body. I guess this is kind of like going through reverse puberty. While I was thinking about that, the girl brought another cup of water near my mouth.
やっぱりまだ具合が悪そうね。多分軽い気圧障害だと思うけど。
Looks like you're still not feeling well. I think it's probably a mild atmospheric pressure disorder. The girl gave me a Um, oh my goodness. It's probably medicine, right? And the cup of water. But there's no glass in here, right? Yeah, it wouldn't be glass because they've already set the precedent that they're using the term cup for cup. So they wouldn't suddenly switch to glass, right? They probably don't actually have two terms in other languages. We're weird people who speak English that use a different word for cup and glass. So let's see here. Going from English to Japanese, let me type in medicine. Yep, that's it. Kusuri. That's the, yeah, okay. Put that in my, oh. That won't paste in. Let me try that. Nope. Okay, so Notepad doesn't like that one. Interesting. So Google Translate says the girl made me some medicine and then some water to drink, which makes more sense. There's no glass in there.
だけどどうしよう。ここから連れ出すにしても、私一人じゃ支えられそうにないし。
What should I do? Even if I take you out of here, I don't think I'll be able to support you by myself.
それに、端末の回線もつながらないから、応援も呼べないし。
Besides, I can't connect to the terminal line, so I can't call for backup.
しょうがないか。それじゃあ、君はそのまましばらく休んでて。
So, did she say Kimi as well, but when she said it was written hiragana instead of katakana? Way to be confusing. I guess it can't be helped. Well, then why don't you rest for a while? Why would the terminal not working is kind of convenient here. Like, didn't all the terminals work in the Takeshi side?
私、応援を呼んでくるから。
Well, this dialogue is different, but similar and reasonable, but less entertaining. I will call for backup, but you said you couldn't because the terminal wasn't working. I guess she's going to do it without the terminal. She's going to walk out in person to call for help or reinforcements. Oh, that's reinforcements, right? Or support. Help, support, reinforcement, something like that. We have a bunch of words in English for the same thing. Not so much in Japanese. The parroting words spill out of my mouth.
君が寝ている間に何か非常事態が起こったみたいなの。全館に退避命令が出ているのよ。
There seems to be some kind of emergency in the what? It seems to be that some emergency happened while you were sleeping. The whole building has been ordered to evacuate. Emergency? Ordered to evacuate? I don't even know where I am. An inexplicable unease stirs in my heart. This seems really familiar.
安心して。私、絶対君を助けるから。
Yeah, this character, we'll call him the kid, actually doesn't know anything. Like, he doesn't know where he is, why he's there, anything. So it's like gibberish. It's like, what? Evacuate? What? Don't worry, I'll definitely save you. The girl turns around in front of the door, waves her hand lightly at me, and then leaves the guard room. Or the infirmary. We don't know if he takes the pills or not. Depends on what they are. If it's aspirin, it'll just, won't really hurt you. The empty room was as quiet as if time had been stopped. The medicine must have worked because the pain in my head had completely vanished. Oh, come on. Be nice to me. There you go. I stare at the ceiling and thought. Thought what? No, I thought staring at the ceiling. Emergency? Evacuation? Where is this place? The anxiety in my chest won't go away. What am I doing here? It still this translator survives, you know, it translates boku to boku. I was waiting for someone in the park-like place. This is someone, right? Yeah. The dots are messing it up, though. So I can just put in some dots. Or just that. Who? Okay. So is that kanji just mean like dare?
ねえ、君、本当に大丈夫？
Hey, are you okay? Yeah. So this conversation did happen. Then I met a girl. But it's not her, it's the black-haired one. But then why is Coco on the screen? And then I saw her. I guess they're trying to, like, not give it away or something. Okay, really, really curious. Let's see what translate to say about that. None of the characters are wrong, though. I was really, really curious.
ちょっと、こっちに来てくれない？
And then you had Tsugumi, right? Could you come over here for a second? It should be obvious at this point. You should recognize her by the voice, even though he couldn't see who she was because she was wearing the costume. And then I met that thing. What is that? And then that thing took me and stuffed me in the suit. It smelled good. Yeah, this game always obsessed with how Tsugumi smells.
Ja, あとはお願いね。
Then I'll leave the rest to you. Can I leave the rest to you, basically? And then suddenly I was attacked. Well, he was able to recognize that it was an attack. All I know is he got hit by something from behind, not know what was going. The moment I got kicked by Takeshi, I got all... And it was like I had lost all feeling. I don't want to say it. I got all BW'd. And then before I knew it, I was here. Yeah, and there was something that the plot was sort of inconsistent about, so they weren't sure they wanted it actually in the final draft or not in the original, where the kid woke up in the infirmary, and the kid was like ran out of the infirmary and jumped in the pool. And then you and some of her coworkers had to fish him out of the pool and then dragged him back unconscious to the infirmary. But that was cut out of the remake, I think. Back then, I was waiting for someone. And you found them, one of the people you were waiting for, but really weirdly. Who? Because they didn't really want to be found, actually. I don't know. My memory was very warm and very blurry. Warm? Well, I think there's a wrong kanji in there. Oh? Okay, so let's take this po and turn it back into a bow, like it should be. My memory is very vague and hazy. There you go. So I don't read any atatakai in this sentence. It's the same with my body, but my head won't work properly. Right, they're both kind of not working. I brought my palm in front of me, gripped it, opened it, gripped it, opened it, repeating this monotonous motion. I'm starting to get the hang of how to move my body. That's what I thought. But as always, my head only works sluggishly. I shook my head again and again, trying to concentrate.
大変よ大変なのよ
This is terrible, terrible. The girl who went to call for backup yelled at the top of her lungs and she rushed into the room.
ほとんどいえもう誰もいないわ私たちも早く逃げなきゃ
There's no one here anymore. We have to get out of here.
急いでベッドから起きて靴は自分で履ける
Hurry up and get out of bed. Can you put your shoes on yourself? Wait, kutsu? The characters are correct. Yeah, could you put your shoes on by yourself? I guess there's a kanji for shoes in there. I don't see like a feet radical though. Oh, here we go. Sneaker. That's shoes. I hurriedly got out of bed and put on my sneakers, which somehow got turned into sneaker bar, but the translator was able to deal with it. Before I could think, my body moved as I was told. It seems my body will move if I don't think about it too much.
よかったどうやら動けるみたいね
I'm glad. It looks like you can move.
じゃあ急いで逃げるわよ
Well, let's get out of here. saying that the girl held out her hand to me. Okay, so we have girl's hand. Grab the girl's hand, okay. Or hesitate. No, I'm not going to hesitate. Why would I choose that? I do as she says and grab the girl's hand. Her hand is very warm. Then the girl pulls me out of the room. Oh, I don't remember it like flashing red in the Takeshi side. When I exited the room, I came out into the corridor.
こっちよ早く
This way, hurry up. Guided by the girl, I run down the corridor. The footsteps of the two people overlapped and echoed through the silent passageway. In the red light, which apparently is blinking, the corridor lit by red lights seemed to go on forever. Yeah, I mean, I would presume that Sora would eventually turn off these lights, but I don't remember them being there on the Takeshi side. Why would they change the protocol? The flowing red scenery, the echoing footsteps, the sense of reality fades away. It's just that the girl's hand is holding my hand. That definite sensation seems to be the only point of contact that made it feel real. And that's when it happened. Powerful shock runs through the passageway from below. The girl and I cling to the railing of the corridor as if we're being sent flying, or more as we were. Oddly enough, the picture doesn't show that the corridors have railings, although it would make sense that they did have them, and it's just not shown in the picture. The girl was suddenly thrown into the air and clung to the handrail of the hallway. Okay, but it's messing up with the Boku. It's I and the girl. Yeah, the girl and I both clung to the railway of the hallway as we were being carried away.
何が起きたの
It's like, what? What happened? The worst thing ever, actually. The walls keep shaking. Oh no, I forgot. Sora explained this, but probably something to do with, like, some methane something. I can feel a small tremor through the railing I'm gripping. Sort of gas bag. Something blew after, like, the cargo elevator collapsed. Some other accident happened that was related right after. Of course, perhaps because this is from the kid's side, it might be different. It might be like an intentionally planted bomb. The red lights keep blinking irregularly. The rope buried in the floor. The rope? Let's see what Google Translate has to say. But got a kanji, it's really complicated. They got messed up. The metal rope embedded in the floor continues to make a clanging noise. Okay, so it's probably not rope, it's something else, but a clanking noise kept occurring. having something to do with the floor. An earthquake? These words come out of my mouth.
そんなわけないでしょ。
There's no way that's
こ
true.
こは
Because we're out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean where there isn't any earthquakes. Well, there's some places in the Pacific Ocean, but not where we are. This is...
ここは
This...
海の中なんだから。
The middle of the ocean. Well, there are some earthquakes in the middle of the ocean, and they make tsunamis. And this is a geothermal hotspot you're sitting on, right? Which you would expect to be not actually correlated with getting earthquakes because hotspots occur in the middle of a plate. I mean, you'll get earthquakes in Iceland. Middle of the ocean, or middle of the sea, the kid says. Just as I asked that, the wind blew through. Yeah, the wind blew through. Interesting. How would there be wind? I guess it's expression. There was a whoosh. Well, that is a wind sound effect. Air got displaced somehow. On the wind, in the distance, I hear a sound like a monster's roar. The monster was approaching. Yeah, it says to happen on the kid's side. They actually have to get, like, caught in something. It's kind of reciprocal to what happens to Tsugumi and Takeshi in the observation deck. The sound, filled with resentment and panic, turned into a raging bellow, sending shivers down my spine. And then he says, "Come," which is referring to it, right? It's coming. Eh? Something is coming.
来るって
Coming? I looked in the direction of the wind. Something to do with a long corridor. But the last kanji is wrong, right? Something to do with looking down the long corridor. You better run. It was so crowded that it seemed to overlap, and I could see something pushing towards me.
ちょっと冗談でしょ
Wait. Are you kidding me? Illuminated by the emergency lights, there was a bright red spray like blood. And it came charging toward us at an incredible speed. There was a huge mass of water. It was a surging swarm. Suddenly, something pulls on my arm. And I look, the girl is holding my hand.
逃げるわよ
Run! My body moves as if reacting to her voice. The girl dashes off at a ferocious pace. Cool new animation. Monster's voice was right behind me. But I couldn't turn around. If I turn around, I'll be swallowed up by the monster in an instant. Beyond royalty? What? Yeah, it's a bad kanji. Okay, so a bunch of like fear and stuff, but then basically my vision turned white. So it's basically the inside of my forehead becomes dyed white. It's like there's white in between your brain and my eyes, right? There's something to do with a bunch of fear and stuff. The problem is that this kanji is wrong. It's hard to tell what exactly the phrase is. Meanwhile, the girl is looking around the walls and searching for something. The button.
閉鎖扉のスイッチはあったあれね
The open the door switch. The door switch. Ah, there it is. There. There's pochito na. That's what you say when you press the button. As the girl ran through, she pushed the button on the wall. Okay, a bit less dramatic than the original. Where she like passes out and stuff. A moment later, a shutter closed. The doors jutting out from the wall, blocking the passage. Which does that, the animation shows the shutter closing as they go through, not they went through and then closed the shutter behind them. So maybe the animation team and the writing team didn't communicate well. The sound of the monster slammed into the door echoes, right? Let's see here. It's Hachi. Sound of the monster ramming into the wall echoed through the room. The light flickered for a moment from the impact. The lights did. The girl slowed down, then stopped. The girl like catch her breath.
助かった
You saved me. How?
わけじゃないわねまだ
Oh, the boy says you saved me, and the girl says, no, not yet.
何が起きたのか知らないけど浸水してるなんて非常事態ってのは冗談じゃなかったみたい
I don't know what happened, but it's flooding. It seems the emergency situation wasn't a joke.
とにかく、私たちも急いで脱出しないとね。
Anyway, we have to hurry and escape.
そういえば具合はどう？大丈夫？えっ君。
By the way, how are you feeling? Are you okay? You... As I was leaning against the wall, catching my breath, the girl called out to me.
そうか。そういえばまだ君の名前って聞いてなかったよね。
I see, you're gonna think of it, I haven't heard your name yet, have I? Name?
あ、ごめんね。君の名前を聞く前に私が名乗るのが先だよね。
Oh, sorry, before I ask your name, I should introduce myself. They're just standing here, like, right in front of this door, having this conversation where they just, like, ran from a flooded passage and they don't know when the next passage is going to flood and when and next and yeah. Classic you, which is good. We like classic you. Oh.
私は田中。
I am Tanaka.
下の名前はユウ。
My lower name, I guess is what you call it, is you. And you know she doesn't say her full name.
本当はもっと長い名前なんだけどね。
It's actually a longer name, you know.
めんどくさいからユウでいいわ。
It's a pain, so you is fine. You're right. My name,
どうしたの？
what's wrong? Why isn't my name coming up? Wouldn't it be my own name? I. It's like boku wa, boku wa, boku wa, boku wa. Who? All of a sudden, I feel like I have been slammed, and the impact pierces my entire body. At the same time, a fierce headache assaults me.
どうしたの？
What's wrong? Ooh, that migraine vision. It hurts. It hurts so much, I feel like it's going to split. I clutched my head with both arms and crouched down on the spot. I don't know. I don't know my name. My name. I clenched my teeth and desperately endured the pain.
ちょっと待った。
Wait a minute.
無理に思い出そうとしなくていいから。
You don't have to force yourself to remember. Use words. Let's see what Go Translate has to say. Use words brought back memories for me. Huh? What did it turn to a comparison? Oh yeah, it did. Okay, let's try something here. Okay, Ramonji, stop. Grab this. Okay, now that's my text file. Use words made me stop reminiscing. There we go. Then the pain in my forehead goes away. But okay, so the name, if you can see my cursor here, the name box is Boku. It's funny. What in the world happened to me? With an uneasy expression, I looked up at you. You look like she was thinking about something.
これからいくつか質問するけど、
I'll ask you a few questions from now on, but
とにかく落ち着いて体を楽にして答えてほしいの。
probably emphasizing the fewness, right? Anyway, calm down. Make your body feel better and answer me.
いい？
Good?
まず君の年齢はわかるかな？
First of all, do you know how old you are? Age?
生年月日でもいいんだけど。
It would be, I don't mind if it's your birthday. Like date of birth. Just give me your full name and date of birth. I did my best to pull the strings of my memories together. My age, my date of birth. When I think about it, the area around my temples start throbbing.
ほら、深く考えないの。
Come on, don't think too hard about it.
思い出せないなら思い出せないって、そう言ってくれればいいから。
If you can't remember, just tell me you can't remember. Even if you say that there's no way I would think of, I wouldn't think about it. Fighting back the pain in my forehead, I wander through the unawakened nightmare, searching for my memories. When you're dreaming, your memories become warm. So when you wake up, your memories should be clear. What? Warm? When we dream, our memories should become hazy. So when we wake up, our memories should become clear. Okay. But I didn't know how to wake up.
OK、わかった。
Okay, I got it.
君は自分の名前も年齢も生年月日も覚えてないのね。
You don't remember your own name, age, or date of birth, do you?
じゃあ住所や電話番号はどう？
How about your address and phone number?
他に家族のこととか友達のこととか何でもいいんだけど。
Oh, the kanji for kazoku have the kanji for house at the start. That's interesting. I don't care if it's about your family or your friends. Or
さっぱり思い出せない？
you can't remember at all? I certainly didn't have a clue. Those memories were painful for me. Not as in like bad stuff happened in them, but it was just like trying to remember them hurt literally. Although in Learner's backstory, there might be some of that too, but that's not what he's talking about here, probably. An indescribable emptiness grips my chest. No, that was close to a sense of loss. Yes, you're starting over from the very beginning, basically, but you still have language. I felt like that sense of loss was trying to make me lose my very existence. Someone snatched away me, and me was just an empty shell. The me here might not be the real me. Interesting. Oops. As soon as I thought that, I felt an uneasiness as if I was falling forever. Scared, lonely, and other kind of lonely. Scared, lonely, and scared. Basically, it's three subtle things that are like hard for we don't really have words for to convey in English. Like it's scared, lonely, and then some sort of mixture of scared and lonely. You? Before I knew it, I was gripping Yu's hand tightly. Like, you're the only person I know. Her warm, soft palms. In the midst of this unawakened nightmare, that warmth was the only thing I dared to do right now.
よしよし。
All right, all right. You gently patted my head.
確かに記憶がないのって、自分の出生とか、自分自身のことがわからないのって。
It's true that the reason you don't have any memories is because you have no memory. Not the reason. It's true that you don't remember things, like your birth. You don't know anything about yourself.
自分がどこに立っているのか、自分を取り巻く世界との接点がなくなったみたいで不安になるよね。
I'm worried about where I am standing, probably, because I have lost contact with the world around me, which is correct. It makes you, or it could be, or he could be talking about him or her. The pronouns don't exist. That might be intentional.
アイデンティティが確立できなくて、自分が何者で何をすべきかもわからなくて不安になるよね。
You cannot establish an identity. You're worried because you do not know who you are or what you should do.
自分自身を見失いそうになるよね。
You're unemployed. You're about to lose sight of
でも
yourself.
大丈夫。あなたは今ここにいるって私には見えているから。
Okay, there's Anata. But don't worry, I can see you're here right now. You smiled and squeezed the palm of my hand back.
それに記憶喪失ってそんなに珍しいことじゃないと思うよ。
Besides, I don't think amnesia is that unusual. Amnesia? And then, what's the other word? Why don't we try opening that program? No, I don't need that program. Okay. Oh, it's just memory loss.
記憶がないんだから記憶喪失でしょ？当たり前だけど。
You don't have any memory, so you have memory loss, right? Yeah. I like the word amnesia better, though. Of course you do.
原因はなんだろう。
Or maybe simply, you really do. What is the cause?
外傷とかはなかったから気圧障害の関係か。
You don't have any external injuries, so it must be something to do with the atmospheric pressure damage.
それとも何か精神的な強いショックを受けたのかもしれないわね。
Fortunately, he's not going to be able to get out. I mean, it's some kind of psychological shock.
例えばさっきの激流を見て頭がパニクっちゃったとかさ。
For example, when you saw that turret, your head went all fuzzy. You mean panic? For example, when you saw the rapids just now, you panicked.
とにかくそれで脳にある側頭葉と扁桃体を行き交う情報が過剰になって処理しきれずオーバーフローを起こしたんだと思う。
It's kind of like, hey, look at you there. Looks like you may have had this happen to you. Anyway, I think that's why you couldn't process the information going back and forth between your temporal lobe and the amygdala in your brain. So you caused an What? Anyway, I think the information passing through the lateral frontal lobe and amygdala in the brain became too much for them to process, causing an overflow.
でも心配しないで。
The writer had no idea what they were writing. They decided to just write some stuff. Googled parts of the brain. But don't worry.
きっと一時的なものだからすぐに記憶は戻るはず。
It's probably only temporary, so your memory should return soon. Really?
そうだよ。
Really?
大事故にでもあって脳に致命的な損傷を受けたとかだったら別だけどね。
It would be different if it was a major accident and your brain suffered a fatal injury. Yes, it would, because you would be dead.
どうもそんな感じでもなさそうだし。
It doesn't seem like that's the case. You put her hand on her hair, I guess, and flashed me a dazzling smile. I presume it's her hair. That smile rained down on my heart and wiped away the anxiety that had been swirling in my chest without a trace.
どう？少しは落ち着いた？
How are you going? You calm down a little? Thank you. I'm fine now.
だったらそろそろ行こうか。
In that case, should we get going? Then, still holding my hand, you start walking down the corridor. We PDA'd. Whoa. I presume that's correct. You see signboards written in Japanese and German on the stairs. I'll have to check the backlog, I guess. Hit P? Yeah. There's probably a missing line. We detoured around the flooded passage and continued onward until we reached the stairs. Okay. I just have to go back and read that. And then, saw signboards in German and Japanese. But you remembered that it was German. Meant something. I don't understand German, but the display board said in Japanese, 5th block. Which is correct, yeah.
フュンフツをね、脱出スポットはこの上ね。
Fuf zone. The escape pods, not expansion pods, are on top of this. Fuf? I guess Fuf is something German, right? Written in katakana, which obscures things. Oh, there's an extra character in there. Yeah, okay. Let me take this and translate from German. Whoops. Start going on the clipboard. There we go. Come on. German to English. 5. Okay, so Fünf is German for 5. Took me a while to figure that. I really went roll just to figure that out. With that murmur, you grabbed my hand and ran up the stairs. She keeps grabbing his hand. When I reach the top of the stairs, a shutter is blocking the way. You press the button on the panel attached to the top, and the shutter opened. Attached to the top or the side, one or the other. 2 shadows run across through the deserted passageway. Oh, wrong thing. 2 shadows, our shadows, run through the deserted corridor. There's no sign of anyone in the corridor. Has everyone here already escaped? Nope. There are 2 more people here. There's actually 3 more people here. I wonder if we are the only ones left.
頑張って。もうすぐよ。この先に脱出スポットがあるわ。
Yeah, then there's Sora, but Sora's not really a person. Good luck. Or, it's not really good luck. It's like, do your best. We're almost there. There's an escape pod up ahead. Or there are escape pods up ahead. You muttered as if speaking to me. Well, I don't know if that's muttering or not. I guess lair means empty. The first thing I saw upon entering that room was a round hatches lined up all over the wall. Although the art depicts square hatches. I guess, again, art and writing didn't communicate well. All the hatches were lit with red lamps that said they were in use.
ちょっと、冗談でしょ。なんでないのよ。なんでポットが残ってないのよ。
Right, they've all been used. There just wasn't enough of them. Hey, are you kidding me? Why isn't there a pod left? Because the plot has to happen. Use word stop there. Okay, now where are we going to find Sarah? Suddenly the mosquito slips out. What? My hand slips out of Yu's hand. Suddenly Yu's hand slipped out of my hand. Okay. That's it. I instinctively look at Yu's face, and her expression seemed to match that of time frozen. The expression looked as if time had frozen. Okay, so she just froze up. Are you okay? Well, he's not thinking I called out to her. He's going to go, okay, well, if there aren't any pods here, we got to go to the other pods, right? So then they're going to go to the same place Takeshi and Tsugumi went.
ごめん、大丈夫だよ。君に心配かけちゃったね。
Which is weird when considering Tsugumi's perspective in this. She's like, well, I know there's not going to be any pods, but we're going to just go through the motions, okay? Sorry, it's okay, I made you worry.
だけどどうしよう。ポットがないと私たち脱出ができないよ。
Yeah, but what should we do? Without the pods, we can't escape. Is there any other way? Which, I mean, there's the normal elevator, right? That will decompress 34 minutes or something. For example, the way we came in, or another set of escape pods. There are more escape pods, which is maybe where we're going, right? Or can we walk? Okay, so I'm going to choose more escape pods because I know how this goes, right? That's the idea that's going to win. Like, is there another bank of them? Why are they all in one place? That's a very inefficient, like, bottleneck in the escape plan, right? And then the building's escape protocol. Hey, are there other escape pods?
そうか、そうよね。
Well, oh, really? Isn't that right? Suddenly, you yelled and clapped her hands together.
ここ、エルストボーデンの脱出スポットって暗室オーデにもあったじゃない。
There are escape pods here on Ersteboden. There's escape pods here on Ersteboden, but there are them on Eins. Okay, what's Eins? Zone 1. Okay. So it's supposed to be there are also escape pods in Ersteboden in Zone 1.
目の前のことに気を取られすぎてはダメってことね。そう。重要なのは視点を変えるってことなのよ。
Wonder where they bump into Sarah. I still haven't figured that out yet. You mustn't be too preoccupied with what's in front of you. Yes, what's important is to change your perspective.
それじゃ、暗室オーレに向かいましょ
う。Let's go to Zone 1. Eins Zone ね。
ここは第5ブロック。その反対側にある第1ブロックのことよ。
This is the 5th block. On the other side of it, the 1st block. Okay, she finally explains it. So I presume there's like 8 blocks. So block 1 and 5 are opposite of each other. Right? And then 2 and 6 are opposite, and then 3 and 7 are opposite, and 4 and 8 are opposite. You started walking as she said that, so I followed her. She had to go all the way to the other side of the floor. Which means you go to the middle hub. This looks like an elevator stop, probably in the middle, right? Oh, Sarah's gonna be stuck in an elevator from Ersteboten. I wonder if I can get to the surface, get on an elevator here to get to the surface.
残念ながらこのエレベーターは地上へは繋がっていないわ。下に降りられるだけね。
So there's only 2 elevators to go to the surface. One is 2 of them are entrances, right? I think there were 2 entrances. And then the third one is actually all direct, only goes from IBF to the surface. It doesn't stop in Lamu. Unfortunately, this elevator isn't connected to the surface. We can only get down from here. Go down from here. While we were having that conversation, I heard an unexpected sound. Well, it's a very subtle tapping. Someone is hitting something. And it's right next to me. Beside us.
取り残された人がいるんだわ。
There's someone left behind. Man, you sprites are really, like, dramatic when you're playing as the kid. Apparently not when you're playing as Takeshi. I strained my ears, searching for the source. Who are you? This makes it sound like... That sounds like Coco's voice actor, even though I know it's Sarah. Which suggests that they may have, like, recruited the same... They might have done something funky where they had tried to get all the voice actors back to do the remake, but they couldn't get Sarah's to use Coco's for both or something. Who are you? Oh, goodness. Because Ima is now. Are you there? I can hear the voices of 2 girls from inside the elevator. Okay, I get it. I get why Coco's voice actor is on this. Because Coco's supposed to be in it. Okay. You and I looked up at each other and nodded deeply. The chin just buried itself in my sternum.
ちょっと待ってて。今、助けてあげるからね。
Wait a minute, I'll save you now.
今、開けてあげるからね。
I'll open the door right now.
よかった。
Only heard one voice. Wow, I'm so glad.
このまま誰も来てくれないのかと思って心配してたんです。
Okay, that sounds like just Sarah. I was worried that no one would come like this. There's no Coco in that, that's just Sarah. She sounded more energetic than I expected. You ran over to the door and repeatedly hit the up and down buttons on the panel.
やっぱりダメか。それじゃ力ずくで開けられるかな。
It's no good after all. Well then, can we open it with strength? I think that's supposed to be. No, can we open it with Kazuku? I presume Kazuku is strength, but translators are having a hard time with it. Possibly having to do with the kanji ka, which means something like strength. Looks like the katakana ka. And I think they're pronounced the same, at least maybe they are in Chinese or something. Pronunciations are related. You stood in front of the elevator door, put both hands on the door, and put strength into the left and right sides. It preserved the left! Wow, that's impressive. Which I presume is like, open!
私じゃダメみたい。君、お願い。
It looks like I can't do it. You, please. I switched places with you, who was out of breath and stood in front of the elevator. Why did the color scheme change? That's when the red world suddenly switched to a white one.
なんで通常照明に戻ったの？浸水してるし、非常事態のはずなんだけど。
Okay. Why there's a new background for this side? Why did it go back to normal lighting? It's flooded, so shouldn't it be an emergency? Because this is all staged. It's weird, isn't it? Situation hasn't improved, but for some reason I'm relieved that the emergency lights are off. This. I put everything I had into it, but the door didn't move.
君でも無理か。せめて指でも引っかかるくらいの隙間でもあれば、もっと力を入れられるんだけど。そうだ!
Even you can't do it, huh? If only there was a gap big enough to put my fingers in, I could put more force into it. That's right. Time to get out the crowbar. You rummaged through her bag.
チュワーン、チュワチュワーン、チュワチョチョチョピーン。
I don't think that will translate into anything.
サインペン。
I presume it's just a sign pin, as I presume it's just a pen. No matter how you look at it, it's just a pen.
これをね、こうしてね、こうしてね、グリグリっとグリグリっとすれば。
Like this, like this, like this, if you grind and grind and grind. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Go through this a little at a time here. As she said that, she sewed the tip of the pin to the small gap in the door. We somehow didn't just crush the pin. I don't have any pins with me that would not get crushed by doing something like shoving them in an elevator door. And then a gap opened up. Wait, how are they trying to pry on this without something to pry into? Like, what are they grabbing exactly? You and I will get on the left and the right of the door, right? So you on the right, me on the left. 2 hands each. One person, one. Oh, goodness. One person is strong, but 2 people are invincible. Yeah, oh, it's although our power is small as one, we are invincible when we unite. You and I split into two, not really groups, one on the left and one on the right, and put our fingers in the gap between the doors. Effort noises. And immediately we get the CG. And Sarah says cheese. Now, here's what's weird about this. If they're on Ersteboden, and the elevators only go down, how does the old CG picture where, like, the elevator is like above the floor they're being rescued from, and we're being rescued into, just by a little bit, and like she's like up in there work. The elevator doesn't go up from where they are. The lift had stopped just at about what? The lift stopped just before it reached Dritte stock. But you're on. Oh. So you're a Dritte stock. Interesting. Okay. We're gonna emergency stop right here.